welcome to the fourth and final review of the evening. Up this time is Brick Breaker Heart Collector. So that title is an accurate conveyance of what this game is. You break bricks and you collect hearts. It is a breakout Arkanoid Brick Breaker kind of game. And I think that's going to be about it for positives. Yeah, not only is it a Brick Breaker title, it is a bad Brick Breaker title. Which always amazes me when somebody screws up a gaming concept this simple. You know, it's one of the oldest. You know, arguably the oldest, depending on how you want to frame Pong versus Breakout. You know, they are, brothers, but they're not exactly the same game. You know, but the question might come up, how do you mess up a Brick Breaker title? Oh, let us count the ways. Like, let's see, seriously, where to start with this? Because it's not like flat out broken like some other games we've covered, but the cracks reveal themselves pretty quickly. Like, for example, the paddle. The paddle control is not good. Like, you know, it kind of, what was it, snaps in place?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, which is kind of the opposite of how paddles are supposed to control. Mm-hmm. You know, I suppose I'm just kind of obligated to bring this up every time we have a paddle game on the program. Now, paddles usually control best with radial dials because those allow for that very pristine precision that you can't really get with any other control scheme. Mouse, close, but not even that is... you get the precision of a paddle controller. I don't know if they make modern-day paddle controllers for the PC, but I don't think that would help this. Mm-hmm. That being said, I could not fathom playing this game on a fucking controller. It's got controller support. Probably, I wouldn't recommend it. But an even bigger problem comes from the ball itself. Setting aside the fact that the ball moves way too slow, and I know this is an artificial programming thing because the first power you unlock is a power-up called Speed Up, and you can speed up the ball to acceptable levels here. But that really shouldn't have been a thing in the first place. Mm-hmm. And the biggest problem with the ball is the angles. I'm like, they screwed up the angles. And once again, you might be wondering how you can screw up geometry. Well, that's simple. In a Brick Breaker, that is adding straight vertical lines, or even worse, straight 180-degree horizontal lines. Do you know what that does? That bounces the ball in an endless loop that you can't break. That's why you go for diagonals in a Brick Breaker, so you don't get stuck in a loop. I lost count of the times I got stuck in a loop and had to reset the level. I'm like, that was bad. I don't know if that can be tweaked, but if they can take that out, take that out. Like, God, let's see. The actual levels are very sparsely populated at the beginning. Look, I don't care if it's level 1 or whatever. Like, you fill the screen with blocks. Having few blocks there doesn't make it easier. It makes things more tedious. Honestly, more than once I missed a ball just because I was bored. Because, this is kind of a problem endemic to the genre at large. The less blocks you have, the greater the chance of tedium can set in. There have been many brick breakers I played where, you're trying to find that one angle to hit. And I know this game states every time you hit, it gets a bit faster. That's every one of these games.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe eventually this game morphs into something half decent down the line in terms of design, but I didn't get that far. All of the problems outlined here just laid out to a really terrible brick breaker game. Maybe the worst I've ever played.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly the worst in recent memory. Like, as far as the music, I remember it having music. Honestly, the entire presentation here is a bit flat. Very utilitarian gradients on background kind of deal. Not awful, but not all that interesting either. Like I said, and some of the later levels I can see from the screenshots do show some actual artistry, but beginning levels, they're garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, pricing. So the game clocks in at $3.99. I'm like, there are so many other brick breakers I can recommend at this. From games we covered this year, Jardinians and Darkanoid, to stuff released previous, like years and even decades past, like Shatter and Wizorb. Like, don't buy this.
Hell, there are a lot of free brick breaker games that control better.
Yeah, don't buy this. Just don't. I'm pretty sure this is going to end up on our worst of list come the new year. And always unfortunate when we have to run over a game, but, we have to call them as we see them. And we will not protect feelings just because, I get that, these are, don't know the personal backstory. Like this could have been a side project. This could have been a test. This could have been a lot of things. It's like I don't know the background details on that, but what I do know is, it's shit. And it never brings us pleasure to call a game terrible, but we encounter them. And on that note, I think we've. Oh, right. No, there is one other thing I want to say on the Brick Breaker Heart Collector. You do collect hearts, but I don't know what they do. I don't seem to do anything. You don't really need to collect them to end the level. You end the level by the normal means, breaking all the bricks. Maybe they do something later on. I guess I'd apologize for not getting that far, but once again, I don't need to spend 30 hours on a game to know it's bad. In the case of this, 30 minutes told me everything I needed to know about a game because, it's a brick breaker. It's not complicated. There. So now I think I've said all I wanted to say on Brick Breaker Heart Collector. What about you guys?
I didn't really put much time into it, but yeah, it's not a good one.
It hurt me.
Well, on that note, this will conclude our review session for the week. And the week ahead. So our guest for this week had to cancel out. Not fully cancel out. It's been delayed to late September. Because they got a new job. They had a meeting on Wednesday night that they couldn't get out of. These things happen. So there's a slim chance that we might find a replacement in the next 3 days. It's happened before. But, with this kind of short notice, I don't put any kind of real bets or placements on that. You know, it's more okay if something lines up, fine, but our plan for this Wednesday is let's play 80 Days Part 10. You know, we are coming to the end of our first playthrough here. Like,
Spoilers, not necessarily a successful one.
no, we're not going to be successful this time around.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing precluding us from doing this again, unless we want to move on to Heaven's Vault. But, you know, we get there when we get there. No Friday show this week either. So we do have a episode of Last News Desk on the Left planned this week. So be sure to look out for that after Fragments of Silicon. And until then, I shall wish you good gaming.